JoziMyBeginning is a competition that inspires communities to find solutions to their daily problems. With a 50 million rand prize fund, the initiative aims to develop bright ideas from city residents that will benefit the public at large, enrich their lives and create jobs. This is JoziMyBeginning. This week on our show, we find out about housing problems in Soweto. We visit Confidence Reef mine in Kloof-en-Dal. We receive more insights from one of our expert mentors. And we chat with Alan Shannon from Nedbank on the big interview. Dumelang, hello, and welcome to JoziMyBeginning show. My name is Puno, and for the next while, you and I will be gaining more experience on how to improve our communities using entrepreneurship. We don't want you to miss out on any of our stories, so do catch us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, JoziMyBeginning, and on Twitter at JoziMyBeginning. We promise to keep you informed about all entrepreneurial updates. JoziMyBeginning is a local competition with prizes worth 50 million rand aimed at giving Joburg's next best entrepreneurs a head start with their ventures. Next up, Pat Lupunya, Regional Director of Region D in the greater city of Joburg, tells us about housing problems which they're experiencing in Soweto.
My name is Pat Lupunya. I'm a Regional Director in the city of Johannesburg, Region D. Region D is made up of the workers of the city of Joburg. So the majority of the people of Soweto work in the city of Johannesburg. You get in the north your Diepkloof, Pimville areas, people who are the middle class. And as you go to the western part of Soweto, you increasingly get the poorest. Those areas will be your Dobsonville, your Naledi, your Zola, your Orlando East, and your informal settlement is Kliptown and Nkandla. So it's two extremes, it's a middle class and the poor of the poorest. If you look at Soweto from where it started, it was blacklisted by the banks. You wouldn't get a bond and you wouldn't even sell a house more than 200,000, for instance, in the 80s. The positive, if you look at Soweto, most of the time find people thriving to improve their houses, right? Which suggests that it is positive. People feel very comfortable. Unlike in the olden days, during apartheid days, these four-roomed houses, people would not even bother to plaster them because they were building their homes in the homeland. Now, the positive thing that came with the democracy is a sense of permanence. People feel permanent in the city now. That illustrates that life in Soweto is improving, albeit very slowly. I think if you look around here, this present is growing. People in this region must accept that there's going to be improvement. That Soweto as it stands is going to be an area of much development in an attempt to improve the lives in Soweto.
It's interesting to see how the rich and poor divide is prevalent in all areas of our city. We definitely have a need for fresh entrepreneurs to address this issue. You never know, it could be you. To see more stories about the city of Joburg, you can log on to our website, jozimybeginning.co.za, where you will find these stories as well as more information about the competition. Together with our stories, we love getting equipped with tools to become better, more successful entrepreneurs. Next, we have our go-to guy, Brandon, with some hints and tips.
Hi. Using social media for your business has become crucial to making your online mark. So online site Open Forum got together with young entrepreneurs and asked them about their thoughts on Facebook for Business. So here they are. First up, stop talking about yourself. Create content that is customer focused. Facebook effectiveness is measured through engagement. By creating content that is tailored for your followers, it's more likely they will engage with you and your brand. Secondly, use automation tools. These will help you to ensure that there's always fresh content on your feed, which can be planned in advance. Facebook has a great scheduling function, or alternatively, you can use Hootsuite or Buffer to manage multiple accounts. Thirdly, it's important to establish a dialogue with your fans. By keeping them informed and excited about your brand, they will share your content. You can also get feedback from them on Facebook. Finally, and it may sound like a cliche, but content is king. There is a lot of content available online. The more you can differentiate yours from what is already there, the better. Your followers can see what effort has gone into your online posts and are more likely to spread the message and engage with your brand. So to sum it up, focus on your customers, automate your posts, initiate dialogue with your followers, and never forget, content is king. That's all for now. So follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at JoziMyBeginning. Until next time, keep focused.
These days, staying connected with social media is a key ingredient to entrepreneurial success. You can find us on our Facebook page, JoziMyBeginning, as well as on Twitter at JoziMyBeginning, where we keep you up to date with all entrepreneurial matters. Recently, we took a trip to Kloofendal in Roodepoort, which is in Region C of Joburg. We found out more about the historical Confidence Reef mine, one of the elements that makes this reserve unique.
I'm Rod Kruger and I'm the historian at Kloofendal Nature Reserve. The park exists because gold was found here back in 1884-85. We're going to go and have a look at the gold mine just now. The mine itself, very much surface. Gold was being brought to the surface then by volcanic action, and it had settled, and then it had been hugely disturbed at a later date. Years ago, when this gold was discovered in Kloofendal, it was discovered by the Geldenhuys family. They had been prospecting up in Eastern Transvaal, and they came to see if there was anything on their property. And they got hold of two brothers living in Pretoria by the name of Struben. And the Strubens came here to have a look and see whether they could find anything of value. And what they found was a small reef running through this area, which they named the Confidence Reef, because they were confident they were going to get very rich very quickly, which in fact didn't work out quite the way they said it would. A lot of gold was left on the surface. In fact, Fred Struben in his diary says he was finding a grain of gold for every grain of sand, but it didn't run to depth, and after about 50 meters the gold had run out. But it was a link between the people prospecting and finding of the main reef in 1886 in what would become Johannesburg in those years. As far as mining is concerned, the mining was very, very primitive. It was done by hand chiseling holes into the walls, drilling holes for dynamite. Then dynamite would be placed into these holes, and everybody would get out of here very quickly, and they would light the fuses, and the dynamite would explode and blow the rock out. So once they had blasted the rock out, they would then clean it up with pick and shovel. To this day, you can still see the marks of the picks on the walls, beautifully shaped. Tunnels done by professionals. It would not collapse. There's no wood in these mines, and the tunnels have stood all these 140 years. Gold-bearing ore was taken down by ox wagon to a stamp mill which the Struben brothers had bought from England and brought over here, and there it was reduced into powder and run over copper plates. It's a very crude process, and a lot of the gold went to waste. In fact, one of the reasons why our modern mine dumps are being reworked was to reclaim the gold that these people had wasted. But the gold was run over copper plates and retorted, and gold was taken from that. So I'm sitting here at the end of the Confidence Reef. Here is the where they were digging the gold out, the end of the reef. You can see the pick marks quite clearly on the wall, but there is no gold left at all. They have really cleared these mines thoroughly. The Strubens soon found that the gold didn't go to any depth, and other things were happening. The main reef had been discovered in 1886, and they moved on from these places at that time. Today, the park exists because of the mines. When the city of Roodepoort was developing the area for housing, the ladies at the Roodepoort Museum became very active in trying to save these mines, and the result was that this park was proclaimed as a public area in 1978. It was set up in two sections. There's an amphitheatre at the bottom where they hold public plays and shows, and then the nature reserve itself, which contains large amounts of small animals. And we have a lot of tours. We have a lot of small tours taking children and adults up to see birds and flowers and all sorts of things. And of course the gold mine here at the Kloofendal Nature Reserve.
The Confidence Reef Mine is definitely an ideal destination if you're looking for a quick adventure. Still to come, we receive some expert training from Liz Dom, we get an update on entrepreneurial news, and we have a chat with Alan Shannon from Nedbank on the big interview. It's all happening right here on Jozi My Beginning, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Jozi My Beginning. If you have a passion for entrepreneurship and are even more passionate about improving your neighborhood, then you're at the right place. Before we go any further, remember to log on to jozimybeginning.co.za to learn about our show, the competition, and to access videos and other downloadable information. Unique to our competition are the mentors that continue to support our contestants with tools and information which help them grow as entrepreneurs. This week, we're back with Liz Dom with more great tips on early business development.
Hello, and welcome to our series on designing and growing a strong and successful business. This session follows on the Testing Your Prototype webisode. We're going to be giving you some tips and practices that will not only help you create a desirable product, but also build a strong internal foundation for your company. Let's get started. When most businesses get started, they tick off the basics. They register a company, set up a bank account, and then work begins. We'd like to introduce you to a very important component involved in creating your company's culture: business principles. Culture is everything for a small business. Even if someone else has the same idea as you do, one thing they can copy is your company culture. Culture is the reason people join and stick with companies, and it sets the tone for how work is done. So, the first thing we decide upon at the outset of starting a new business is the business's principles. An example of an important business principle might be to make decisions out in the open, which means to share as much information about decisions being made with your team as possible. A set of governing principles for how you and your co-founders intend to run your business might cover how decisions are made, how people in the company will be rewarded for their contribution to it, when and how equity will be awarded to contributors, and a definition of key responsibilities, which might include nominating a board and a set of directors. While these principles are a great starting point, every business is unique, and your company's principles may differ from what's been mentioned. So why not start with the principle of making decisions out in the open and brainstorm your business's principles by involving the whole team from the outset. When executed correctly, your business's principles will undoubtedly set the tone for your company's culture. Having a solid set of principles that you can continually refer back to is an important asset for creating a sustainable business model. For more information, visit our website to learn how a strong team will make implementing your business principles easy. Thanks for watching.
To see more of our training videos, you can log on to our website, JoziMyBeginning.co.za. You'll also be able to access other shorter downloadable information. My favorite part of the show is getting to hear from entrepreneurs about their triumphs and failures, and also getting advice from them on how to thrive as an entrepreneur in Joburg. Next, Mogetwa chats with Alan Shannon from Nedbank on The Big Interview.
Hello and welcome to The Big Interview. Sourcing funding can be a difficult task for first-time entrepreneurs and small business owners. There are many things to consider when trying to raise capital for your business. Well, here to help us understand the financial options available to entrepreneurs is the Head of Professional and Small Business Banking Sales at Nedbank, Alan Shannon. Alan, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Now, when a bank receives an application from an entrepreneur for funding, what are some of the things that you consider?
So it does depend on whether it's an entrepreneur who's starting out in entrepreneurship for the first time, or whether it's an entrepreneur that's been in business for some time. Most of what we see is actually from entrepreneurs that have been in business. And typically the type of things that we look for when specifically they're looking for funding is their track record. You know, transactionally, how have they performed since they started up their business? We will often ask for information that helps us understand and show us evidence of what that track record has been. Whether it's in the form of bank statements held by us or with other institutions, financial statements, normally in the form of balance sheets and income statements, signed off by an accountant. So financial information is relevant. I think the other thing we look at as a bank is people's credit history. So it's one of the most important things people can pay attention to, because the moment you approach a bank and you come up to a bank with a credit history that perhaps is not as clean as we'd like it to be, you really are on the back foot when trying to seek finance from a bank in particular.
And is that a difficult process? Is it difficult for entrepreneurs to get funding?
It depends, because it depends on what they're looking for funding for. You know, so money comes in many forms from banks. There's short-term funding, there's medium-term funding, there's long-term funding. So it really depends on where you're at in your business life. I think people that are looking for funding to kick off new businesses, it is difficult, because they've got to put a strong case together that says they have an idea or a concept that is solving a problem that they feel very strongly about, that they have potential orders in the pipeline, and are able to project what sort of their cash flow is going to look like. As they come to us well prepared, even if they are startups, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. I think banks typically are not the best source of fundings for startup finance. You know, one of the things that's becoming more popular around the world, and particularly in South Africa, is crowdfunding. Finding people that are prepared to invest in you, whether it's through your family or friends or contacts, is often a good starting place to find some seed capital. So it can be difficult, but it doesn't need to be if you're well prepared as an entrepreneur.
What about someone who's young and who's only starting out and they don't have a credit record? What options do they have?
So they need, really a priority for them needs to be around creating a credit record. I think as Nedbank, we will help them with that process by opening up and establishing a banking account and banking relationship for them. The quicker they can start transacting with a bank such as ours, the better, because behind the scenes, a record is developing all the time. So I mean, I think we have a role within the bank called a relationship banker specifically for small business clients that come in and require assistance. And you know, each case is different. So our relationship bankers are there really to interpret the situation that each entrepreneur finds itself in and to provide them advice which is bespoke to their particular situation.
Let's talk about these relationship bankers. What specifically do they do for small businesses?
So I think they offer small businesses a single point of contact within the bank. They offer the small business entrepreneur the ability to start forming a meaningful relationship with someone within the bank that's going to help them on their journey, whether it's raising finance, being able to open up transactional accounts. I mean, I'll give you an example. As consumers, we know what it's like when we have faceless people on the other side of the telephone. You know, for instance, if we were seeking to engage with a mobile phone company around our bill, the chances are we're going to have to phone when we get through to a call center, and we're not quite sure who we're going to get hold of on the other side of the line. And when we call again, there's a very strong likelihood that we're not going to reach the same person. Now that's frustrating for consumers because they have to tell their entire story again. A relationship banker negates the need for that because you have someone dedicated to your account, you tell your story once, they understand your business, and they walk through, you know, they embark on this journey with you and provide you with all the advice and solutions you could need from a bank.
Do you find that funding needs differ between different sectors? So someone who's in medicine might need different funding options as opposed to someone who's in manufacturing per se?
100%. So from one industry to the next, there's different requirements. One takes the retail industry for a second. Often there's a finance requirement to help them bring in stock. There's solutions to help them accept credit cards through the mechanism of a point of sale machine. So there's some working capital requirements. Manufacturing clients have totally different requirements. They've got to be able to fund the purchase of raw materials. They've got to fund the equipment that is required to be able to transform those raw materials into a product. And then they need short-term facilities to sort of bridge that period between when they invoice out these goods and when they eventually collect payment from their clients.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the head of professional and small business banking sales at Nedbank. And that's it from us at The Big Interview.
If you're looking to be successful in Egoli, it's good to stay up to date with all things entrepreneurship in the city of Joburg. So next, the news. In the headlines today, Sasol and DTI launch a new business incubator, MLab launches the App Fund, and CIF finalists attend the UJ Business School. Hello, I'm Puno with this week's JoziMyBeginning news. Sasol has recently launched its incubator in Chem City in Sasolburg. Present at the launch, the Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, Mzwandile Masina, expressed his delight at the 54 million rand incubator and how it would build businesses, particularly in manufacturing. Sasol Executive Vice President for Energy Business, Maurice Radebe, said Sasol was proud to have partnered with the DTI to bring life to the vision of growing black industrialists as a strategic driver of South African economy. Staying with opportunities for entrepreneurs, MLab Southern Africa has officially launched its innovative App Fund. The initiative is an early-stage fund to stimulate more South African mobile innovation by startups. The fund, which was established in partnership with the Technology Innovation Agency, will give qualifying startups up to 500,000 rands to help them in the development of an MVP. To find out more about the fund, visit mlab.co.za. And lastly, the finalists of JoziMyBeginning competition are nearing the end of their social entrepreneurship program at UJ. The coursework, which was presented at the Center for Social Entrepreneurship and Social Economy, aims at helping the finalists in the following core business areas: finance, marketing, and business planning. The competition is nearing in the final phases, and enterprises can still win a share of the 50 million rand prize fund. That's the news for this week. Remember to keep in touch with us through our social media pages or email us your news on info@jozimybeginning.co.za. From the news team, goodbye. Next week, you don't want to miss out as the finalist journey continues. We learn more about the CIF Fund and how the city of Joburg is using it to solve problems, and we chat to another great entrepreneur on The Big Interview. Just before I go, don't forget to connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, JoziMyBeginning, and on Twitter @JoziMyBeginning. That's all from the JMB team and me, Puno Silisho. See you next week. Cheerio.